Welcome on in to episode 21 of the New World Top 5 Fights, a series featuring you guys and some of your best moments in PvP. I know it's been a while since the last Top 5 video, but I really want to get the series going again. So, if you guys have some awesome fights, if you think you can do better, send in those clips to Kristofer at pvpnewworld.com, and you just might find yourself in the next Top 5 video. And let's get right into that commentary. The first fight for you guys today is brought to you by Krayzd, and he is playing Spear Rapier in medium armor, and he's got what looks like 6 green players chasing him outside of this outpost here, and Krayzd is just jumping around. He's doing a lot of direction changes here. I love how he's making sure to weave attacks in between those rolls, and then as soon as his stam drops, he goes for the spin with the spear, gets a bunch of stam back, pops his ultimate, and then right away back to dancing around with these guys. There's the spear spin again to get the stamina back, and then Krayzd uses the evade to break that little bit of distance, quickly heal up, and he just turns around, goes for the riposte, and he's gonna fight these guys. 1v6 open field. I'm sorry, this is just crazy, but he goes for it. He gets a great combo on this player, sticks to him with the rapier flesh through, and then gives him a poke to finish him off right away. Pressure on top of the players, trying to get the revenge for the kill, and Krayzd gets a huge combo on another player, ends up taking him down. There's the spin, snaring everybody, and the enemy player, by the time he turns around and starts playing defensively, Krayzd already has him so close to dead. One of the players just splits off to the side in... Oh my god, man, I wouldn't even know what to think. He just killed 3 out of the 6 players. He's got 2 left on top of him, and it looks like the guy that was up top shooting at him is just kind of watching now. He's not even helping his friends, and at this point, Krayzd has done the hardest part. He's basically won this fight. He gets back behind here just to get a little bit of healing in, and then he re-engages with the last guy. The other 2 just get out of there. And this last player here is pretty durable. He's running that greatsword heavy attack block setup, and that can be super annoying to fight. But Krayzd is just going to do his best to bounce around on this guy, and he's putting in a lot of heavy attacks as well. Unfortunately, with the point guard on greatsword, it's really hard to deal any kind of effective stamina damage against that. But yeah, Krayzd is just going to keep doing what you got to do against this build. Constantly moving around, trying to get him to turn around and get those backstabs in. And yeah, holy crap. That is one of the best 1vx fights I have ever seen. Incredibly well done to Krayzd. And for him to do this fight on a full melee build I think that's just a whole nother level, because you have to be very, very, very aggressive and very committed to the fight. So great positioning, great playing, man. Absolutely amazing fight. Moving on to our next clip. We have got TDRainFish playing a full mage Firestaff Ice Gauntlet build, right away putting huge damage into that first player, finishing him off with the burnout into the heavy attack, and then just roast this guy with a heavy attack into the fireball, the pillar coming down. And TDRainFish just hangs out here. More players end up coming out. Beautiful cancel on the Entomb, rolling out of it, getting the knockback as well. Just a really good counter move to kind of getting caught there. Really well played. And he manages to score the kill off of that combo as well. And then 2 enemy players end up coming behind. And TDRainFish right away starts applying pressure with the fire staff. Got some good burns going. He drops the ice storm down, goes for the ice spike, manages to get great damage on him, and then the burnout to get right back on top of him. This player very low on health. The fireball for the finishing hit. And TD does get hit by the incoming sword and shield, I think, flail player there, but he manages to just quickly roll out of that and then apply pressure. Such a clean kill, and I love that cancel. So smooth again, the cancel into that ice spike, and then he turns back to the fire staff and then rolls just out of range of the hammer stun and just roasts this guy. Oh my god, so much damage coming in. And the Sword and Shield player manages to just get the stun, and TDRainFish throws down the ice field. He's just hanging on. There's the light attack to finish him off, and this guy's so squishy. Oh my god. TDRainFish just absolutely roasts him as well. And then, look at that, more reinforcements end up coming, and he right away sees the enemy players coming, goes for the burnout through them. Huge damage on this player here. Unfortunately, he gets obstructed by the sword and shield player, but TDRainFish stays on top of the bow, hits him with a big shot from the fireball, and then drops the snare with the ice storm. And TD does a little bit of kiting, and he manages to get great damage. There's the knockback from the Entomb and the Pillar of Fire. He picks up one last kill. Really well played, man. Moving on to the next clip, we've got Nyce Gaming playing with Atlas Fishmo. That's right, two of the most famous tanks in this game playing together, and they are hanging out in OPR, just hanging out at the enemy side. They catch one player just kind of off here, and the lockdown is super brutal. This guy just managing to escape out the end here, but Nyce sticks to him with those light attacks, the sword and shield tracking, absolutely amazing. And then he turns around. Atlas has 3 players on top of him here. Nyce just starts swinging with that great sword. Oh my god, tanky build's doing so much damage with that heavy attack. And this guy here is somehow managing to hang on. I think that was just some weird tracking with the greatsword heavies. I've definitely experienced that myself, where you just don't land the attack even at point blank. But it looked like 2 or 3 swings should have been the finishing blow, but none of them connected on that guy. And then Nyce finds himself in a pretty difficult spot here, having to retreat a little bit, go for his sword and board to just kind of turtle up, and then he switches to the greatsword once Atlas gets back. Big heavy attacks, one of the enemy players goes down. Atlas just dropping a lot of CC on this group as well. There comes down the hammer stun, and Nyce just keeps feeding them those heavies. Oh my god, he gets this guy super low, jumps on top of him with the sword and board gap closer, feeds him a light attack, another enemy player going down. Man, I swear, these two in a group together, they can just win OPRs. The remaining players just trying desperately to get any damage in, and it looks like slowly they're trying to retreat as well back towards the outpost. They know that they're not going to be able to take these two down, and Nyce and Atlas just staying on top of the player in the back here. Oh, man. And the enemy player actually manages to break some good distance with the roll. Nyce just about getting him with that light attack, and he gets inside the outpost, and I love this. All the other players, after dying like that, they don't even bother fighting. They go right for the inside of the outpost. Only the fire mage is brave enough to stay outside. And that's the end of that fight. Moving on to the next one, we've got AkinosPvP playing that medium armor greatsword hammer build. And he has 2 enemy players jump on top of him here. He right away opens with that hammer stun. Huge damage off of the armor breaker. Oh my god. And then he turns around with the greatsword, starts going for the cross cut again, landing big damage on one of the players. The final hit of the cut, almost getting the final bit of damage into that other player. Akinos does a great job dodging the incoming cannon shot. And he does eat the other ultimate from the other player, but the durability of his build, he just brushes it off. And then he turns around and feeds that guy a crosscut. Oh man, the first 2 swipes of crosscut, so fast, so much damage. He ends up going down. And then he catches the fire staff player coming in with the shockwave. And then there's just 1 armor breaker to finish him off. And now it's just the last player left. And looks like this guy is trying his best. He goes for the flamethrower. Oh no, that is so the wrong move. And he just holds it. He knows it's over. Akinos finishes him off with the greatsword. Well played. And for our final fight today, we have got Savan RPG playing Sword and Shield Hammer. He is in open world, and it looks like he's fighting 3 flamethrower fire mages. Yeah, this is nobody's favorite fight, that's for sure. And Savan, unfortunately, taking a lot of damage, a lot of burns from these guys, so he breaks a little bit of distance and just starts healing up. The fire mage is staying on top of him though. He eats the damage from that burnout, but I love the durability. And then he waits around the corner with his block, and this guy just goes for flamethrower. Now, I am no expert on heavy armor, but you're not supposed to flamethrower someone who's just blocking. Savan easily able to absorb that damage, and as he comes around the corner, he hits this guy with a huge stun lock combo, and the heavy attack at the end. He takes 1 of the enemy players down, and look at these other guys just feeding him the flamethrower. Savan able to tank out the damage, heal himself up, and then switch back to the sword and board, and he just starts working again. And this is really good gameplay from him. Notice how he doesn't right away go for the stun with his sword and board. He starts feeding the light attacks first, sticking to the enemy opponent, timing that stun, and then it opens up, finishing the guy off with the rest of the combo there. Another enemy fire mage going down, and it looks like one of them respawned and just ended up running back. And Savan is just, he's fighting now. He is not going to give these guys any space at all. He's staying on top of this other player, and he's just tanking the flamethrower from behind. I think if it's just one player, Savan does have the durability to be able to just fight through that, and he locks another player with a couple stuns, and then finishes him off with that heavy attack on the hammer. And yeah, the clip just continues. More of these guys respawn. They end up coming back. And Savan, again, just fighting here. I like that he takes out the pylon. Very annoying, especially with multiple flamethrower players, to have the pylons down. So, yeah, it's just more extra damage that you're taking on top of everything else. And Savan just locks that guy down one-on-one. Absolutely terrifying against these guys, and he jumps on top. This guy tries to go for his ultimate. Savan, really well played, just blocking the incoming blast, taking almost no damage from that sequence, and sticking on top of this guy, and he forces him to use all of his stamina, almost all of his stamina and his gap closer. And Savan, again, just out of range with that stun, but there's the sword and shield getting right back on top of him. And he hits him with those light attacks. Unfortunately, takes the slow from the blunderbuss. So this guy, though, oh my god, Savan actually clips him with that light attack as he goes for the flamethrower through. And it looks like he's got his leaping strike ready again. See, again, he's just doing a good job. He's being patient with those light attacks. I love seeing that. So much patience. He opens with the light attacks, makes sure that he starts working their stamina, starts working some damage in before he tries to go for that finishing combo. And then he just ensures that he can land it with good timing. And another player goes down. And Savan, again, just resetting, getting some heals in. And he's just going to open with those light attacks on the sword and shield and just try to work a little bit of damage here. Again, forcing them to roll. These guys just keep respawning and coming back. Savan gets the knockback there. There's the hard stun. He goes for the heavy attack. 4,900 damage off the Warhammer Heavy. Oh my god. Heavy Armor Warhammer just has incredible burst. And now this guy, I think he's had enough. Savan says no, he doesn't want you to be standing here anymore. He gets right on top of him, just swinging those light attacks with the sword and shield. Just out of range with the hard stun there, unfortunately, thanks to that immobilize. But Savan just stays on top of him. The partial charged heavy attacks on the hammer, they have actually pretty good tracking, and he manages to stick to the enemy player with it. And here comes a new player coming in, not one of the three he's been fighting already. Sword and shield and spear, and Savan is forced to play pretty defensive there, just kind of healing up a little bit, and then jumping on top of this guy. Oh my god, there's the knockback, we all know. Oh, he actually dodged out of it. Savan gets back on top of him with the leaping strike, and there's the final poke. Down he goes, and then Savan turns around, and he's just going to block the incoming damage here. Switches to the Warhammer, goes for that heavy attack. I love seeing the Warhammer Heavy pulled out so much on this type of a build. You get so much bonus damage. I know he's running that passive for huge bonus damage for that half second right after you take damage, and that is how he's getting this, or these really huge smacks with his Warhammer. And Savan wanting to chase after the low health player there. Unfortunately, this guy goes for a bit of a spin around the tree, and Savan just decides to wait, seeing that he's healed up a little bit, holding block, and he's just doing the patient thing. Really well played. He does get that hard stun. Fortunately, he gets knocked out of the stun before the enemy player can react, so he does get the knockback from the hammer as well, but the pressure from the incoming flamethrower players, and Savan is just wanting to get, I think, a little bit of a reset again here. I think he just wants to have good positioning. This is a great spot for him to fight. He's got multiple directions he can go, the tree and the gate there. It looks like 4 enemy players on top of him now, all 3 of the mages, and or maybe a new mage coming in. It looks like this guy might have actually changed builds, perhaps, because he's got a Void Gauntlet now. But Savan just sticking to the enemy player. There are the light attacks coming in. He's out of stamina. That is the end for him. The light attack to finish off the down body. And then these guys still trying to put that damage in. Savan, man, he is just playing this so smart. This is just really, really smart, well-timed gameplay. Fantastic stun on everybody, and then he switches to the sword and shield to absorb that incoming blast. Really well done. And then he breaks a bit of distance here just to try to heal up a little bit. He's pounding back those meals as well. The 1-on-4 definitely getting a little bit trickier, but Savan is going to make it all the way back up to full health, I think. Yeah, look at that. Really good healing power, scaling off of your max HP. And then he turns around, jumps on top of the enemy fire staff player here, and there is the hard stun. Oh, this guy's got his freedom on though. He's able to roll out in time, so Savan just moves to the next target that's on top of him. Big damage on this guy. Savan just trying his best to stick to him. Unfortunately, he gets interrupted from the player behind him there, and there's the spear player to interrupt him again. And Savan just being, oh man, this guy made a really bad move. Savan being patient. This guy jumps right in front of him. There's the hard stun. There's the knockback, and there we go. He finishes him off with the shockwave, trying to get that knockdown on the next player. Unfortunately, that's the guy with freedom. He ends up rolling out of it, and then Savan is just gonna, again, pick with those light attacks, just really, really patient. He's not going to try to force these attacks. He's not going to try to force these combos. He's seeing his hammer abilities come off of cooldown, and there we go. He lands the hard stun, the knockback into the heavy attack. 5.2k no crit. Oh my god, man. Hammer is an absolute beast of a weapon, and Savan is just playing so well, just knocking these guys over. It looks like it's just the two of them left now. The other two haven't respawned and come back yet, and Savan just about bringing this guy down, but the guy is just out of range, and the spear player trying to stick behind him here. But honestly, man, Savan's got so much durability on this build, he doesn't even need to worry about one player on his tail. And it looks like a little bit of lag there as he tries to go for light attacks on that guy. Savan switches to the AFK player. I mean, I don't blame him. These guys have been trying to kill him for so long now. And this guy ends up realizing he's under attack. He ends up rolling out of there, goes for the burnout back into it. That was a bad move because Savan is able to stick right on top of him. And again, that timing, he doesn't waste his skills. He's very, very careful with it. And it just allows him to break the distance that he needs at the right time. Unfortunately, this guy still manages to escape, but yeah, Savan, I'm very, very impressed with how he's setting up all of these combos here. Again, he goes for that heavy attack. This guy's so close. There's the poke, the light attack to finish him off. And it looks like the other reinforcements have fully arrived as well. So it's back to the 3-on-1. The fourth guy, obviously he's going to respawn and come back. This guy tries to go for his boom ultimate. Savan able to absorb a ton of incoming damage with his block there, and then jumps on top of the player that's kind of outside from the rest of the group. The other players there try to get him with the ultimate again, but Savan getting really good timing with the knockback on the hammer. He hits everybody with it, and that opens up the kill for him too. This guy out of stamina, Savan trying to get that finish on him, and somehow, I think he used the sword and shield gap closer there actually to break that last bit of distance. If he had landed that knockback, I think Savan would have got the kill. And this guy turns around, just holds his block. He's not really sure how to approach this beast of a tank, and Savan gets the knockback, and the enemy player saving his friend there. Unfortunately, this guy ends up getting hit by the next shockwave, and there's the last little poke to finish him off. Man, I don't even know what to say. What more is there to commentate in this fight? Savan is just going to absolutely bring the beat down to these guys. Holy crap. This is, I think, the longest 1vx fight that I've ever put in a top 5, so yeah, really well played, man. Really well played. Savan is just, he's not even stopping. He's not even about to slow down. These guys want the kill so bad. It looks like another archer player has come in here that wasn't in this fight originally. Savan just takes a moment to take a breather and grab himself that gold loot on the ground. No big deal. Then he turns around and then goes for pressure on the Void Gauntlet player here, and looks like Void Gauntlet and Abyss, and oh, there's the hard stun, there's the knockback, the shockwave, and he goes for that heavy attack. He almost lands the knockdown. This guy doing a great job dodging that, but Savan really quick to get on top of him with the gap closer, and that guy ends up going down. Oh my god. Really, really well played to Savan. I'm going to let the rest of this clip play out as we say goodbye. But yeah, well done everybody. Really awesome top 5. Seriously, I know it's been a while since the last one, but I gotta say, the quality of fights were absolutely amazing for this episode. So thank you guys so much for sending in those clips. Of course, there are links down below to everybody featured in today's episode, so be sure to check out these awesome New World content creators. If you have an awesome fight that you want to see in the New World Top 5 Fights, you can email it to Kristofer at pvpnewworld.com. Best of luck to you guys. Of course, if you want to catch some live gameplay from me, there's a link to my Twitch down below for you. And if you want to see some written guides for a ton of different PvP builds, feel free to check out my website, pvpnewworld.com. A big thank you to our sponsor, ExpressVPN. They can help keep you safe on the internet, and you guys can get a deal with them thanks to the link down below. And of course, a massive thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon for supporting the show. Thank you guys so much for supporting, whether you've done it in the past, whether you're supporting now. Thank you so much for just keeping it going. And finally, thank you guys so much just for tuning in and watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to have another Top 5 episode coming out real soon for everybody. The sooner the better, right? So send in those clips. See y'all next time.